Welcome to Comfort Zone, a podcast all about pushing your hosts, outside of their comfort zone. I'm Christopher Lawley, and each week I am joined by two incredible co-hosts. And this week, one of us can barely walk. As always, I am joined by Matt Birchler. Matt, how are you doing?
Chris, I'm feeling bendy today, but we're not going to talk about this little thing.
That was a tease.
What did you do to your iPhone?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
That was a tease. Okay, all right. We are also joined by Niléane. Niléane, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It is Monday today.
Yes.
Which is not the usual day. I mean, it's become kind of usual, but yeah. So Monday mood it is.
This one's my fault because I was in Disneyland last week, and
yes.
That is the reason why I can barely walk, because I walked over 100,000 steps in 5 days.
Well done.
That was a lot. Yeah.
It's too
Is
many.
that Imperial unit?
Yes, it is Imperial units, especially considering part of it was during a Star Wars night event at Disneyland. So it was Imperial. Bum, bum, ba-lum, ba-lum, bum. Anyways.
Cut it off before we get a copyright.
Yep. No copyright. All right, so we have a couple of tiny topics. The first one, mine's really short. Camera control button is the greatest thing Apple has ever added to the iPhone.
Wow.
Hot take, I know. And especially, I know Matt has been very lukewarm on it, though he mentioned in the last episode he's been using it again. Disneyland was there with my whole family. I have two nieces, one of which is 3 years old. So when she would see characters or things that would excite her, you wanted to take a photo of that. But you had a split second to get that. Being able to quickly take out my phone, and as I'm taking out my phone, hit the camera control button, launch the camera app, don't have to worry about Face ID or Touch ID or any sort of authentication. Just literally take it out, aim, point and shoot, and then hit the button again to take a photo. I got so many moments, like candid moments that I think otherwise, without something like that, I would have missed. If I was having to unlock my phone, launch the camera app, take a photo, I would have missed that. So, camera control button, greatest thing Apple has added to the iPhone in at least a very long while. But I would say, yeah, some of the photos I got, which obviously I'm not going to share because they're my 3-year-old niece, they're really special moments.
I agree. Ever since I got the 16 Pro a few weeks ago, I've been taking more pictures, I think. Just because it's right there.
Yeah. It's honestly, I said this in my 16 Pro review video, that it's a great reminder to take photos because you feel the button and it's like, oh yeah, I could just quickly take a photo right now. Like, let's just do it. Like, it's a great reminder to take more photos.
I have a couple of items. First is interesting bit of news I saw earlier last week, I guess. In France, right now, there are now more than 60% of all smartphones compatible with RCS.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you know what? No one cares.
You know what? Hey, literally, my girlfriend yesterday, her best friend is a diehard Android person. And she mentioned to me, she was like, hey, how come I can see like the text bubbles of like when they're typing a message and when messages are marked as read now, even though this person is on Android? And I explained what RCS is, and she was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In my experience, I tried so I'm guessing that this number has jumped since iPhone now ships with it. The iPhone now ships with RCS. But ever since then, I've tried multiple times to text some of my friends via RCS instead of WhatsApp and other apps. And every time they respond and they're like, oh, that's cool. And then we never talk again using RCS. They just message me back on WhatsApp. Yeah, I think like most people, I would not say most people, but a lot of people are aware that it exists now, but no one cares still. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the big difference between the US and everywhere else, I suppose. I just went through my top 12 chats in iMessage or in the Messages app. 6 of them are iMessage, 6 of them are RCS.
Damn, okay.
So
Wow.
half of and the ones that are RCS are like friends and family, like exclusively. So and we do not chat in Messenger or WhatsApp or any of those things. So I love RCS. It's been great for me.
Yeah. Do the tap back compatibility work for you?
For the most part, every once in a while, it doesn't seem to exactly get it right. But that's
Yeah.
actually Apple put in some stuff, or Android put in some stuff over the last couple of years that have made that work even before RCS happened. So
Okay.
it's not as bad as it used to be, where you just see like messages of like Matt ha-ha'd at this message, and then it's the whole message all over again.
For me, it never works. I think it's because the Android device on the other end is sending that in French, and my iOS is in English. I think so. It's not translating the na reacted to na to a proper reaction. It's just giving me the old school fallback message. But anyway, that was RCS. I have something else. I'm a big fan of ATP. Yeah, love the show. And I was listening to ATP last week, episode 637. We're almost there, right? Comfort zone. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Almost
we'll
there.
catch up any day now. We'll catch up
Any day. And Marco Arment, I was happy to hear the way that he was. So he was talking about the Remarkable tablet, an e-ink tablet, which seems really nice. And I've talked to you already about the fact that I'm now using the Sidekick notepad on my desk, and it's been working great actually. Like I'm still using it daily. It's great. And he was talking how the Remarkable, he seems to use it in the same way that I use the Sidekick notepad. Like he keeps it on his desk so that it's always there in front of him when he has to jot things down and look at his tasks and all of that. So I was thinking, hey, that might work for me. And I was even more happy to hear that when he was describing the issue that he has with to-do apps and task management apps, he sounded just like me when I described it to you, how it works in my brain on Comfort Zone. If you remember, I said, like, if something is out of sight, it's out of my mind. If I insert a to-do item in an app and then close the app, I'm never thinking back to it. And he was saying just that, like, hey, he's just like me. So anyway, recommend listening to that if you're interested. I think I want to give the Remarkable a try instead of the Sidekick notepad, because the fact that the Remarkable syncs your notes, so it's a subscription, so that's an issue. But the syncing feature, I don't want to travel with my Sidekick notepad. Hate traveling with notepads, with paper in general. So it stays on my desk. But the Remarkable, if I can leave that on my desk, but access the notes on my phone while I'm away, yeah, that's tempting. So I will keep you updated on that. It's too expensive for me right now, so it's not happening now. But yeah. Yeah, so the Remarkable is about 500 euros when I looked at it online. Yeah.
That's about an iPad price right there.
Yeah, my Sidekick notepad is way cheaper than that.
Yeah. What is this last item you have in the tiny topics here? I don't quite get what's going on here.
So it's a rant, basically. I just wanted to fit in this rant. So I'm asking to the audience and you, am I the only one having this newish issue with macOS where the Messages app will randomly quit itself multiple times a day with no explanation, no reason whatsoever?
I have not seen that.
Me neither.
Okay, so I asked the internet. And the internet also has this issue. It's happening to a bunch of people ever since like Sequoia.2 or .3 or something like that a few months ago. And nobody knows where it's coming from. The Messages app, for some people, quits itself. I've checked everything on my Mac. I've put in my Mac in safe mode, which is not something I've done since 2016. And it still happens in safe mode, although I did not remain in safe mode for long because all my apps were gone that I'm used to. But I don't know what's happening. So no one knows why. The answer is no. I'm not the only one, and I'm just saying it on this show so that if people have the same issue, we can rant together about it and be angry about it together. There you go.
Interesting. Is it only messages? There's no other apps that do this?
Only the messages app. And there's no like crash dialogue, send a whatever. No. It's just sometimes I notice it's gone. It's no longer active in the dock. And behold, the window is gone. So I don't know. Sometimes the messages app is like, I'm done with this. I'm gone.
I'm out. I'm done.
I'm
You're not
out.
getting any messages. I don't need to be open. I'll see ya.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't care about RCS, well, I don't care to stay open.
Sometimes I get push notifications from messages. I click on it and it takes 2 seconds because the app was not launched anymore. So I was not running anymore.
It's the iPad experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
The system
exactly.
decides it's time to close it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Matt, you have something in here. What do you got? I'm kind of curious about this.
So this is a very quick story. I'm currently in the middle of writing, as I often am when we record. I'm in the middle of writing an article for my blog. And this article is one that's either going to make a point that I've been trying to make for months, either the best I ever have, or it's going to make everyone who already hates me for using large language models even angrier. It might do both. And I've been like, how much energy does the tech in my life use? Because the big thing, I saw, like last year, there was a big number where someone said like ChatGPT used as much energy as 20,000 US homes, like in the past year. And I was like, I wonder if that's a lot. And I won't go into all the math here, but it's a remarkably small amount of energy in the grand scheme of things. But I was like, another issue with like looking at this number and presenting like how much energy it uses is, how much energy does Google use? How much energy does the App Store use? How much energy do all these other things that we do use? Because we never really think about it. And I went down a bit of a rabbit hole of looking at the things in my office, and I'm like, how much does my computer use? How much does my sound system use? How much does my Synology use? How much does my Wi-Fi use? Long story short, after doing a lot of investigation into how much power all the things in my tech life are doing, I have reduced my electricity use a massive amount by
Really?
up to 1,000 to 10,000 daily ChatGPT requests, depending on what number you use to measure it, by having my Synology go to sleep at 10 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. every morning.
Nice.
It turned out that was a massive energy suck. And, you know, running a NAS is like is a cute, nerdy thing to do. We're all happy about that. But like, of all the things in my office, it uses the most electricity. And again, on the order of thousands of ChatGPT requests per day that are just being sucked up by it. So I'm going to save money on my electric bill. I really didn't realize how much of an impact it was having. But yeah, it was pretty wild to be like, well, I could just like turn that off when I'm sleeping, when I don't need file access anyway, and I can save way more than I would do by stopping using tools that I find useful. So that's as ranty as I'm going to get today, but I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
Huh. I like this. I just created a task for me to do something very similar once we finish recording, because I didn't realize how much energy that was using. And that explains a lot, actually.
Yeah. Well, because, it's like it's always running. It's I always hear the fan running. It's like always making noise. And like, I don't know, maybe there'll be a scenario where I'm 1,000 miles away and I need to file off my Synology and it's the middle of the night. But is that ever going to happen? Probably not.
I know. I was just kind of trying to think through. I was like, have I ever needed my Synology in the middle of the night? And, When I was using the Mac Mini, okay, that's probably when it did a lot of the Time Machine backups and carbon copy cloner stuff from that drive that I talked about a few weeks ago. But I'm not using that anymore. So yeah.
So long story short, I guess the thing I would hope the Comfort Zone listeners consider is there are many things that we do every day that use electricity, and there's reasons we should use less. Like this is not like a we should burn the world down thing, but like I do worry that we focus on the wrong things sometimes because we don't have all the data that puts the data that we do have into context. So that's all.
Nice. I like it.
Also, Bitcoin uses about 100 times more than ChatGPT, potentially more. Like, or no, maybe 1,000 times. What was it? Anyway, Bitcoin uses the equivalent of about 2.5 million U.S. homes electricity.
Jesus.
So anyway, that's the context. I'm done. I'm done ranting.
That was pretty chill rant.
That's my that's just my style.
All right. Well, let's get into the main topic of the show. And like we've done in the past, we're throwing the rules of Comfort Zone completely out the window. We're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and we're doing something kind of different. We kind of talked about this, I want to say a couple weeks ago when Matt brought his log, like the fact that he cleaned up some of his login items to the show, and we thought it would be interesting for us to all bring our login items to the show and defend them. And kind of what we meant by that is if you go into system settings and go to login items, there is all the stuff that starts up when you log in. Plus, there's kind of like the background apps that launch when you start your Mac and stuff like that. So Niléane suggested we do that this week. And since I was on vacation and didn't have time to prep anything, I was completely on board with it. So anyways, we're going to round robin style this, where each one of us just kind of talks about an item that we have, and then if we have a shared login item and when somebody brings it up, I say just jump in and mention why you're using it as well.
But before we start, I want us just to say how many items we have each.
Ooh, okay. Now, are we including just the stuff in that menu of login items, but we're not going to include like stuff that starts up in the background?
Let's say no.
Okay, just the menu. Okay, just the
just
menu.
The open at login section in the window.
I'm 8.
4.
18.
Whoa.
So Niléane has more to talk about than Matt and I.
Okay, I thought you were pausing for dramatic effect. You were just pausing to count.
I was counting. I have. You can see the document. In our document, I've added some nicknames to each of us. I will say that Chris is the newbie.
Fair.
When it comes to login items.
Completely fair.
Matt will be the seasoned.
I kind of like that. That's a
I
good
kind of
nickname.
like it. Yeah.
I feel like I'm taking the Stephen Hackett role of this podcast the old man.
You are.
Yeah, you kind of are the old man.
And my nickname, my self-assigned nickname for this is the Gremlin. And you will probably see why.
Oh, I love this. Okay, all right. Niléane, I say you go first because you have the most.
Okay. My first one is something called AirPods Sanity. And I've provided the link, of course. This is something on GitHub, which is very obscure. I've never heard of it until a few weeks ago. What this thing does is something very specific. It lets you connect your AirPods to your Mac without having macOS switch your sound input device to the AirPods by default. And by that, I mean, you may have encountered this on macOS before. When you join a call, even though you have a fancy microphone like we do, if you have AirPods in your ears, macOS, since you're wearing AirPods, will default always to your AirPods, to the terrible mics in your AirPods. instead of your fancy microphone, even though you have already set your fancy microphone as the default sound input. So this utility, which lives in the menu bar, but you can hide the menu bar item, and you can just start it at login and forget about it. It just does that. It lets you say, hey, when this pair of AirPods connects to your Mac, force macOS to use this sound input. So you can always select the fancy microphone you have.
That's pretty cool. I've been using AirBuddy, which can kind of do something a little similar. You can set up rules and stuff for like when applications are launched and things like that. Plus it gives you that nice visual overlay of like hey, here are your AirPods Pro, here are the battery levels for them and stuff like that when you open them up. But this is really cool. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is I totally get the pain. At work we use Google Meet, which does a great job at memorizing your settings for like what mic and to use for input and output. But in other apps, I have major pain every time. So this is compelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. Matt, you want to go second?
Yeah, I've got the shortest list. Which one do I want to bring up? I will bring up. I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. CleanShot X.
Yeah. Whee! I think this is on all of our lists.
Yeah, this one I'm sure is on all of our lists. It's a great app. It's the best screenshotting tool I've ever used. I've used them all. I've been pitched all of them as well over the years. It's the best. It feels completely native to macOS. I forget that it's a third-party tool. Like it just works really well. They added history a few updates ago. You can mark up screenshots. You can add borders around them, which is useful in some cases. It's fast. It's reliable. You can pin things on screen, which I actually find myself using quite a bit. You can take a screenshot and then there's a pin button that lets you pin it on top of everything else you're doing. So if you want to reference it while you're writing something, designing something, whatever. It's just awesome. It's delightful. And it does scrolling screenshots, which are nice. I used that to take a screenshot of my login items for our show notes today. So it's wonderful.
I absolutely love this app. It's one of those apps that's like it made me see like, oh my gosh, the Mac is just in a much better position than the iPad because of apps like this. I've been using it for all the screen recordings for the Mac videos I've been doing lately. And one of my favorite features about it is I set up a keyboard shortcut to start the screen recordings. When I finish the screen recordings, I hit save, and then it goes into a specific folder. So when everything's done, I can just copy and paste those, or not even copy and paste, but just import them right into my Final Cut project. I don't have to worry about going, save, like with QuickTime, I don't have to go to save as every single time and like save it to a specific folder and like manually select that. You just set up a default folder, it saves it right into there. Saves me so much time. Screenshots, I do way more screen recordings than screenshots, but I do take screenshots, and just the ability to mark up screenshots right from its tools is so nice. It's such a good utility. If you do anything at all with any screenshots, it is worth installing.
I've done something on my Mac that's maybe controversial. I've changed the default app for opening image files on my Mac. Not in preview. My image files, PNGs, JPEGs, they always open in CleanShot X so that I can annotate them directly and crop them and all of that.
Oh, this is a good idea.
This is a great idea. The only thing I would worry about, because I do photography, like I do a lot of photography stuff, I would be worried that I'd accidentally mess up one of my photos. I mean, I guess there's probably, there's layers to before you would mess it up, but
yeah,
I might have to.
If you don't edit it, it doesn't affect your file.
Yeah,
that's true.
It just replaces the preview app to view your photo.
Yeah, I just did it for PNGs now, since all my screenshots should be that format. But yeah, I typically only open things in preview to crop them anyway, and CleanShot has a better crop tool. So
yeah,
the preview app is like the only app on the Mac where you can't like, when you like draw a rectangle in an app, if you hold the Option key and like resize it every single other app will like do both
Yes.
sides evenly. Not the preview app. It's the only app, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, you know what? I just did this, and this is kind of nice. This is really nice, just to be able to
You're welcome.
like literally open it, draw a rectangle, or highlight something right on it. Oh,
Yes.
this is genius.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're a
it's very
genius, Niléane.
I know.
Full disclosure, I do work with CleanShot, I suppose, should disclose, but they don't pay for Comfort Zone. Although if they
Yeah.
want to, we'd happily take them.
Sounds like
Clean
it.
shot. Call me. Sponsor my videos too. All right, so I guess it's my turn. I'm just gonna start top to bottom on my list, which is in alphabetical order. The first one is amphetamine. This is, the caffeine replacement app from a few years ago. Basically, the whole idea about this is it's a menu bar item. You click it, and it keeps your computer from going to sleep, which is something I use all the time when I'm backing up extremely large files or a lot of files to my NAS, exporting videos from Final Cut, like big videos, so my computer doesn't go to sleep. Or most importantly, and probably the thing I do the most, when uploading Comfort Zone to YouTube, which with my slow internet upload speeds, which I only get about 40-ish megs up, takes about an hour and a half to upload Comfort Zone to YouTube. So I click that button, keeps my computer from going to sleep, lets me do whatever task I want, click it again, and it's back to normal. I know you can do this stuff with like Raycast and stuff like that, but I really like having that visual of like, yes, this thing is on right in the menu bar. Click it, runs it, click it again, it's off. I like it.
And this is free, right?
Sure. I bought it years and years
Yes.
ago.
Okay.
Like this was like a previous Mac stint purchase. I have no idea if it's free or not, because if I go to the App Store, it just, says that I already have it.
I think it's free. I do use Raycast for this, which has an extension called Caffeinate. I think so. Yeah, Caffeinate. And the Raycast extension lets you add a menu bar item.
Okay. All right.
I will,
That's good to know.
Yeah, I will throw all of your login items in the trash and give you better alternatives.
I mean, there's a big reason why I have only 8, and that's because Raycast handles a lot of
Yes.
things that would have normally been login items. Raycast takes care of a bunch.
Can I say something equally controversial to what Niléane said on the last one?
Ooh.
Mhm.
I do not use apps like this because on every single one of my devices, I never have them go to sleep.
Ooh.
What?
Okay. So
regarding
on
your
the-
energy bill,
Well, so my computer will stay on until I lock it. My iPhone screen will stay on until I hit the on-off switch. I never have them
whoa,
automatically turn themselves off because maybe it's just I am okay with managing this myself, but like I hate thinking I can go use my device and it just turned itself off. So I will always manually turn it off. So I've never used an app like this.
So I do the same thing with my iPhone and iPad. I don't know why I've never thought about doing it with the Mac.
Like, do you ever walk away from the Mac and just like leave it on? Like, surely you lock it when you leave, right?
I mean, yeah, if I walk away to go get a Dr. Pepper and I'm coming back, I'll leave it on. But like,
For example,
I don't. You're right. Like, I don't just. Now I'm quite. If you set it to never go to sleep, if you close the lid of your laptop, does it? Still
it goes
go
to sleep. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then yes, I'm gonna do this because I don't know why I never thought about that. But yeah,
This
no,
is
my
insane.
iPad and my iPhone never go to sleep. They do not. If I don't lock my iPhone, it'll just sit there, and I love that. I don't want it to go to sleep unless I lock it. So yeah. I don't know why I never thought
Maniacs.
about doing it on the Mac.
Are you
I
not
don't know.
worried about like your screen or I don't know?
I don't know. I'm the seasoned veteran. I've never had issues.
I'm not one of those people that like freaks out about like my device and needing to keep it in pristine shape. Like, oh, I can never charge it because I don't want the battery cycles to go up too high. No,
Yeah.
just use your device. Use it. You bought it. Use the thing. Don't worry about like just like trying to keep it in pristine condition because then you'll never use it. Use that sucker. push it through its limits.
That's not true.
Yeah.
I will say, if I'm doing like for example, if I am uploading like a really long video or doing something where I know the computer needs to stay on for a long time, I will often like set the display to like minimum brightness or something to like just make sure I'm not burning it in even a little bit. So there's some precautions there, but yeah,
Okay.
I guess screen goes off when I tell it to go off.
So I guess we can all check that we have Raycast in our login items.
We all have Raycast.
We
yes.
all have Raycast.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
let's tick this off.
Literally, yeah. I completely
have
agree.
Raycast.
Yep, we have Raycast.
And we've talked about it already at times.
I just put out a video about how I'm using Raycast. I don't feel like I need to go over it again. Go watch that video. I put a lot of effort
it's
into
great.
that video. Thank you.
I approve.
All right.
My turn?
Yeah,
Your turn.
All right. I will, just like we go into alphabetical order, my next one is Dato. Dato is by Syndresaurus, which I believe is the correct name. I'm not butchering the name. Very prolific developer we already mentioned on Comfort Zone, who makes another app that we'll mention later. Dato is a calendar that lives in your menu bar. Shows you a mini calendar, your upcoming events, very configurable, lots of settings. However, controversial usage, I do not use it. I do not use the mini calendar thing. I only use it because I want it to show me the upcoming event directly in the menu bar. It has this feature that it will show you the full name of your upcoming event with a countdown in the menu bar. So I just use it for that, but I hide the main calendar companion component of the app. So I'm not using 90% of the app's functionality.
Did you know you can do this with Raycast?
I can do this with Raycast, but I know, but the way that you do this in Raycast, it doesn't have the features that I want.
Okay.
You cannot set how long before an event. Like, it only has a few options, none of which work for me. I want to set precisely like, show me the event if it's in 3 hours or less. And I like that Dato shows me the color of the event. So I know which calendar it's from. I have multiple calendars color-coded in my app, which corresponds to different work things. And I like seeing the color of the event in the menu bar, which Dato does.
I like this. I'm looking over the website, and the only thing it looks like it's missing is Todoist support. Like, if it had Todoist support, I'm on the Todoist train. I'll talk about it next week, or maybe not, because I think it's actually my challenge. It doesn't have that, so that's the only thing it's missing for me.
Yeah, it just integrates with the macOS calendar app and reminders.
Snazzy.
Mhm.
Okay.
Matt, what do you got next?
Okay, so I'm going to stick with the like login items or open at login section. AquaVoice. I talked about this last week. This was my main topic. AquaVoice is a great speech-to-text tool that I've been using to keep my phalanges from hurting, as I said so eloquently last time. Yeah, it's a great app. A little expensive. I did find a way to get a discount on it, so I'm back on the train, baby. But yeah, it's really good. It's last week I asked for feedback, and I also made a YouTube video where I asked for feedback from people looking for who had other tools of this type that they would recommend. I found the other options to be not as good and more expensive, and so this is where I've landed. But it's a great app. Link in the show notes, but it's really fantastic if you want a high quality speech-to-text dictation tool.
Nice. I've been meaning to try this out. We recorded right before I left for vacation, so I have it downloaded, but I haven't tried it out. But I've been wanting to try it out. So for me, the next one on my list is Bartender 5. I tried all the bartender apps. Niléane wrote a really great article a few months ago when Bartender got sold, and we didn't know it got sold, and we didn't know who bought it, but now we know. And everything it just seemed like a weird sale, but there didn't seem to be anything too malicious behind it. But Niléane wrote a great article about all the alternatives to Bartender. I tried those, but there's just a few features in Bartender 5 that the others haven't quite replicated. So I'm video viewers can see I am working from a MacBook Pro now. This is my machine. If you would have listened to my Mac Power users, I talked all about that. Maybe I'll talk about it later, but we don't have time this week. But one of the things about a MacBook Pro, you have that notch, and I have a lot of menu bar items. So I love the feature of like, hey, you're always visible menu bar items, but then you can have like this sub menu bar that kind of like drops down underneath the menu bar. That's really nice. I also really like the ability to do groups. So I have another app that we'll talk about in a bit, I think, iStat menu in a group. So that way, like, it's just one icon that has all the iStat menu bar stuff. So I can just click on that one menu item, and then it drops out into like a separate sub bar. And I'm literally looking at like CPU, memory usage, SSD, internet speed stuff, temperature stuff. Like I can just see that all right there. That's really nice. But my favorite feature about Bartender is the ability to do triggers. So, for example, you can set up like, show me the battery icon when it's not at 100%. And like, if it doesn't match this image, it will show me the battery icon. Or show me Wi-Fi when I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. Or show me Time Machine, but only when Time Machine's backing up. That is really nice feature to kind of declutter your menu bar, but only show you these items when they're relevant. Really like it. I paid for it a long time ago. New owners, I fully expect them to put out a Bartender 6 version soonish and charge for an update, because they're going to want to make money from this app, and that's how you make money from apps nowadays. So I fully expect that to happen. I'll probably revisit the competitive, like the other Bartender style apps when that does happen, and kind of see like, have they added these other features, and go from there. But for the most part, I'm really happy with Bartender still. It's very customizable, and yeah.
Nice. Can I tell you something crazy? I was going through old YouTube videos that I made today for reasons. And I found in 2021, I made a video about the features I expect to see in Things 4.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
I the only difference between this and Things is Culture Code did not sell the app Things. With Bartender being sold, I'm assuming the new owners are going to want to make money, and they're going to do that by selling a new version to the people that are using Bartender. Mm-hmm. That's the only difference there. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Things, but the only deal it seems to be getting lately is bug fixes and like new OS system features, like dark mode icons or widgets and stuff like that. Like, they don't really seem to be improving the app and adding new features to the app. So I don't know if that means they're working on Things 4 or if they're just kind of like coasting.
I don't know. Didn't mean to derail, but yeah, it was wild. 4 years ago, I was really sure it was right around the corner.
Any day now. Any
day now. All right. Niléane, what do you got?
Oh, it's the Gremlin Stone. Okay. Which one will I go for? So I will go with Beta Touch Tool, but only mention it and go to something else, because I love Beta Touch Tool. So of course it's in my login items. So I will mention something else right away, and that is Ethernet menu bar. So remember when I talked to you about the Ethernet Rube Goldberg cable setup I had?
Oh, yeah.
I had issues with sometimes when I connect my Mac to my Thunderbolt dock, it's not actually connected to Ethernet. I no longer have this issue. for reasons. No idea why, by the way. This went away. I no longer have this issue. However, that episode made me paranoid. Now I want to know at all times if I am indeed connected to the internet via the Ethernet cable and not Wi-Fi. And macOS doesn't have anymore a native way to show the Ethernet status in the menu bar. So this small app in the App Store just does that and adds a menu bar item, shows you if you're connected or not via Ethernet.
That's very simple.
Very
I like it.
simple.
But good. I've never heard of this one.
Yeah. I could see this being really handy. I use I have Ethernet coming into my Thunderbolt dock, so I could see that being very, very, very useful. Matt, what do you got next?
I'm looking for the most interesting one. A lot of mine are pretty cliche. Old man who's been using the Mac for 20 years. I think the one that I'll mention is 1Password, which remains my password manager. But much like Niléane with Better Touch Tool, I will just move on because everyone knows I like 1Password. And I will move on to Pastebot, which is the unsung hero of Tapbot's app library, in my
Interesting
opinion.
choice.
Yeah, very interesting. Niléane, do you want to say it or should I?
Yeah, Raycast does this, Matt.
Oh, but not as well. Not as well, in my
What?
opinion. Maybe I should try it again. But
Okay. What does Pastebot do for you that
it is super fast. It supports every sort of file type I could possibly want. It has good settings for limiting things. I can see you're nodding your head, Niléane, like Raycast does
None
all
of this
this.
makes sense. Like Raycast does all of this.
Maybe I should try it. Is it part of the pro subscription or is it free?
I
It's
think
free.
that's free. Yeah, I think if you want the syncing, that's part of the pro
don't care about
subscription.
syncing,
But I don't
yeah.
know if clipboard history syncs.
The pro subscription lets you set the history to unlimited, I think.
Oh, that's right. And like if the free one is limited to like 7 days, which that has never ever been a problem for me.
7 days only?
I
Yeah,
think it's
maybe.
7 days, if I remember right. I was going through the
I'll check now.
the list when I did my Raycast video, and that is kind of ringing a bell.
3 months it is.
Oh, 3 months. Oh gosh,
Yeah, up to 3 months for free. And then you
Oh.
can select 6 months, 1 year, or unlimited if you're subscribed.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
definitely wouldn't want unlimited because that would make searching through your clipboard history that would get hard really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, something to check out. But for me, it falls into the if it ain't broke and you ain't paying for it,
Yeah.
why change it?
You're not valid.
Wow. All right. Okay. Well,
I mean, you're
Pastebot's
the
great.
seasoned. It's time to freshen up.
Yeah. I think, okay, so for me, my next one is Keyboard Maestro. Technically, it's the Keyboard Maestro engine, which is the thing that like triggers all the Keyboard Maestro stuff, but I'm just gonna talk about Keyboard Maestro as a whole. Honestly, this is what shortcuts should become. There's so much you can do with it beyond shortcuts, including running shortcuts in it. I talked on the last challenge about my Keyboard Maestro for launching apps and then changing the wallpaper to match the color of my mechanical keyboard. I use this for a bunch of like Final Cut combination keyboard shortcuts. I talked about that on my Mac Power User episode and my Hyperkey video. I did a Hyperkey video. Go watch that as well. So I've been using Keyboard Maestro for just a lot of automations. I even use it to check which Wi-Fi network I'm connected to. If it's my home Wi-Fi network, then it automatically mounts my NAS, and I do that so that if I'm outside of the house and I turn on the laptop, it doesn't pop up with the error of like, oh, we can't find your NAS. This way, it only runs this automation when I'm home, mounts it, and then moves on. So that's a really nice utility. There's a lot you can do with Keyboard Maestro. It's been around forever. I highly doubt there's a lot of people listening to the show that haven't checked it out or haven't or aren't aware of it.
All right. Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Okay, I will go through 3 of them. First one is something I hate deeply. Figma agent. So, Figma is a vectorial design app used by UI designers and more. I barely design UIs. I use it for more than that, for other stuff than that. But I use it a lot. However, this does not mean I want Figma to launch at login. Like, it's in my dock and launch it when I need it, and then I forget about it when I'm done. But Figma, what it does, if you remove this item from your login items, it will add it back every time. You have no choice. This is part of the deal. No one knows what it's for. No one knows. They do not explain it. They do not explain what it's for.
It's copying all your credit card information.
Yeah, probably. It's a keylogger, my thought is. But you may think maybe it's to update automatically in the background. No.
Nope.
Figma does not auto-update in the background. When you click Figma 1 out of 3 times, it will tell you, hey, Figma needs to update. Will you install now or later? So it's not able to update in the background. I don't know what this thing does. It's in my login items. It will be there forever, I guess. Moving on, Finder Fix. I mentioned this last time or the time before. I don't remember. Go back to listen to that. Basically, small utility on your Mac, which will get rid of dstore files, which is the reason why I installed it in the first place. But it's also able to permanently to force Finder to persist in its view options features. Like you can always have the same window size for all your Finder's windows, Finder windows, etc. So I cannot live without this now. It will remain in my login items for now. And third one is Front and Center. This one is made by, I believe, I don't remember which of the 3 ATP
John
boys made this. John Syracusa, yes. This app, it's an old app. I don't know if that is, it's not that old, I guess. I don't remember. I think it's been around for a while. What it does is when you click an app, an app on your desktop on the Mac, which has multiple windows, the default behavior is only the window that you clicked comes to the front. But with this installed, if you click a window, then all of the app's windows will come to the front at once on your screen. Very useful, especially in the case of John Syracusa, because he has a crazy system of window management, which he has talked about on the show, and I've mentioned on Mac Stories a few times in my articles. So it's useful in this case, but in my less chaotic window management system, it's also useful because I often have multiple Safari windows on screen, and they get buried behind other apps. And if I want to bring a specific Safari window to the front, instead of having to hunt for it in Mission Control or whatever, I can just click a Safari window, and they all come back to the front, and I can see which one I want. So that's useful.
I like that. I tried Front and Center a little while ago, and I was just like, I get why some people would like this. It doesn't work for me, but I get why certain people would really like it.
Yeah, I think it's a very specific thing. Like if you feel this has been annoying you and this may solve this problem, this will work.
Nice.
Yes.
Matt, what do you got?
I have one that, Chris, I'm sure you have as well. It's Motion VFX.
What is this?
And we can probably tie this to another one as well, but we'll start with Motion VFX.
Yeah, so I use Motion VFX. Motion VFX is a company that makes plugins for Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, uh, for basically video editing apps to do things like fancy title sequences, transitions, these sorts of things. Basically, every YouTuber you've ever seen that had a text appear on screen in a fancy way is using something like this from some company. And Motion VFX is the one that I've kind of enjoyed. I think their pricing is pretty good and their options are solid. And so to get them to authenticate, there is this background app that needs to run that basically just confirms you haven't installed it on too many devices. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And it pops up every time you turn it on, or every time you turn on your computer. It always pops up. It doesn't ever go away. It's
really?
so annoying. Yeah,
My-
it does for me. Does it not do that for you?
It's in my menu bar, but like it never pops up.
Huh. Every time I turn on my computer, it pops up.
Interesting.
I need to figure that out because that annoys the crud out of me. Motion VFX, fun fact, Motion VFX is one of the partners that was announced to bring plugins to Final Cut Pro for the iPad when that was launched. Check notes over 2 years ago. So any day now, that's coming. Any day now, because Apple said that was coming soon. Not annoyed about that at all. The other one I think we could tie to Motion VFX for a very similar thing that also is equally annoying. Adobe Creative Cloud.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God. No, Adobe, you don't need to be in my menu bar. You don't need to always be there. I don't want to hear about your latest promotions and other apps I can check out. I literally have a bundle that is just Lightroom, Photoshop, and I think there's like a third thing. And all I need from you is Lightroom and Photoshop. And that's very unfortunate. I need that from you because I would much rather use something else. But unfortunately, there hasn't been anything that matches Lightroom, and Lightroom and Photoshop work really, really well together. Command-Shift-E, I think is what it is, and you can literally send a photo from Lightroom to Photoshop, and like you don't have to do like weird exports or anything like that. It literally just sends the raw file to Photoshop. You can make your changes. I hate you, Adobe Creative Cloud. I hate you. I hate you so much.
Yep, it's super annoying. Don't like it, but yeah, Lightroom is the goat. And honestly, I use Photoshop for a decent number of things as well because it's also very good. Yeah.
I would like to bring up a positive one because I feel like both of those were a little frustrating. Pop Clip. I love Pop Clip. It is. I don't want to say it's a simple utility because it can get really complex, but it's just a really nice utility. You highlight text and you get the iOS style like cut, copy, paste pop up above the highlighted text. And I use this all the time for like creating a task. Like somebody will email me and be like, hey, can you sign this document? Blah, blah, blah. And I will highlight, sign this document and create a task out of it. And I'm using Todoist, so I could just use the Todoist plugin right now. Works great. If I get tracking information, I can just highlight the tracking information and send it to Parcel. It's just a really quick utility of like, do something with this text and then move on. There's, plugins for dictionaries. There's plugins for paste and match style, which is one that I use all the time. I use paste and match style because for some reason I can never remember the modifier key combination for paste and match style. I know I don't know why I can't remember that. I should probably just remap it to something else. But you know what? PopClip saves the day. It's a great utility that has like a bunch of different little plugins that you can use. Just check it out. Like you can check out the plugin page for free and stuff like that and see if there's anything useful to you there. I can pretty much guarantee there will be.
Nice. I will say PasteBot lets you paste as plain text very easily.
You know what else does?
Dang it.
Raycast Clipboard Manager. But in a roundabout way, like using the Raycast Clipboard Manager, when I need to paste in plain text, I just bring up the Clipboard Manager in Raycast and then press Enter. And that copies again your latest item in your clipboard as plain text every time.
All right.
Yeah. Niléane, what do you got?
Okay. So something that we can all tick off our lists, which is supercharge.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, we all have it. Someone among us is obsessed with it. That's not me. Oh, that's
I don't know.
Chris, maybe.
It's
I
probably
mean, I'm
Chris
obsessed
now.
with it. I look. I'm literally I finished writing my supercharged walkthrough script right before I went on
Ooh.
vacation. So I'm coming for you, Matt. I'm coming for you.
That's okay. So
I
what
sense a
are
recurring thing?
the like one or two things you guys use it for primarily?
It's so many things, honestly. The mission control thing that lets you right-click windows in mission control to close them.
Oh, okay.
That's really good.
I love having a keyboard shortcut to just bring up Finder. Yes, I know you can do that with Raycast, but I just set it up with Supercharge. What was there is the offer to install apps from mounted DMG and then obviously move the DMG to the trash. I try a lot of apps. It's what I do. That is a really nice feature. The goat. In Finder, have a file selected, hit Command X. Then go to where you want to send it to, hit Command V. Guess what? You just moved the file and not copied it. Move file to the trash with just the delete key and not having to hit Command Delete. Is that? Yeah, Command Delete. Yeah, that one's nice.
Oh, I can do that?
You can do that.
Yeah, I can.
I will enable this.
Oh,
I don't know who the developer behind Supercharge is, but just being somebody
Sindre Soros, I think.
Oh, is it
Yes,
really?
Once again.
Yeah.
Was he a big Windows person? Because there's a lot of things that basically are like, hey, these are Windows Explorer, like built-in features to Windows Explorer, and like, let's bring them over to the Mac. Like, there's some good stuff there.
Yep. Yeah, that install from when you mount a DNG and it automatically says, hey, would you like me to just move this to the app folder, delete the DNG, unmount it, and open the app? Lovely. I have a dark mode toggle, so I can toggle dark mode on and off with my hyperkey and then D. I also love the dismiss visible notifications. So if you have notifications hanging out in the top right, hyperkey, I have backslash, but it could be whatever, and that clears all of those. That's lovely. Cut and paste files is great.
Unminimize all windows when you click the dock icon. That's a good one.
Maniac. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yes. and then the create new file. So I have option N, create a new file. You just name it, give it an extension, and then it opens in whatever that default app is. So I use that for making markdown files or
I have one.
Whatever.
It has a thing where if you click an active app in the dock, it will hide it.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's really good. So you can just toggle apps on your screen with this.
There's a few others, but I'll save it for my supercharged video.
Okay, so that was not my real item. My real item is Velia.
Finally, a different developer.
Finally, an app made by Syndrosaurus. It's another one of his apps. What this one does is peculiar, but very useful. It replaces... it's a browser picker. So if you often need to juggle multiple browsers on your Mac, this is super helpful. I only use it for two things, but it's really good at that. So basically, it replaces your default browser on macOS. So in the system settings, you set Velia as your default browser. And then in the Velia settings, you set your default browser, the one that you use the most. So I set mine to Safari. So I'm still using Safari for most things. But what this lets you do is add rules so that specific links open in specific browsers. For example, we use Riverside to record. Riverside is not compatible with Safari. It's only compatible with Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge or whatever. So I have a rule in Velia to say if I click a Riverside link, always open that link in Google Chrome. I have the same rule for Google Meet links because Google Meet sucks in Safari. I always want to open them in Google Chrome instead. So I have a rule to do that. I click a Google Meet link in a calendar event, just opens Google Chrome. I don't have to copy and paste and do whatever. This is really good. It can do a bunch of other stuff. You can set it to always show a mini picker above your mouse cursor whenever you click a link, so that you always have to choose a browser. If that's your thing, you can do that. It's tiny but powerful. I really like it.
How many apps does Sindra Sora have? I'm like looking at his list and I'm like,
It's crazy.
wow.
I have no idea how he does this.
Good on him. He's got a lot of really good apps.
And
I
they
literally
all
just bookmarked his.
updated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just bookmarked his app page for me to go through so I can like pick some stuff out to cover. But I'm just like, wow, this is awesome. But yeah, this is some good stuff here.
He doesn't just make apps and move on. He actively maintains them all, which is really crazy.
Which I really appreciate, because there are developers out there that will just like throw anything at the wall and see what sticks. So they'll get people like, using an app and be like, okay, I didn't hit like the number of people I wanted to hit or the target money I wanted to make, and move on. But like he's keeping all of his stuff up to date. Like, and his website's really easy to use. Like you can cycle through free apps, paid apps, categories, like all sorts of stuff. Good on him. All right, Matt, what do you got next?
We're really reaching the bottom of the barrel for me. I feel like we've listed a billion apps already. I think the very last one of note is iStat menus, which I still thoroughly enjoy for seeing mostly network traffic. I don't really use much of the other ones anymore, but every once in a while it's good to like check there to see like, did my internet just die, or why is my internet suddenly using, or what is suddenly using all of my internet upload speed? And I should check to see what apps are there. But yeah, it's great. It's the best at doing what it does, which is showing stats in your menu bar.
I just got this fancy new MacBook Pro, and one of my favorite things is using iStat menus and watching like the cores get like just fired up, and using all those cores when I'm like exporting video or like doing like the machine learning generate frames thing and stuff like that. Like iStat menus is just a fun nerd tool to be running in the background. Do you absolutely need it? No. Is it fun? Yes.
I've tried it many times, but I think it's stressful. I don't want to know how my mic is doing.
So the key is you got to bundle all the iStat menu stuff into something. That's why I'm using the bartender group thing. So I'm not always seeing it. I'm not always looking at it, but when I want to see it, I can click the group and then I can see all this stuff. So that's the key there. We are going long. We need to get to the challenge here pretty quick. So I'm just going to rapid fire my last few. BusyCal menu bar, hand mirror for just kind of like quickly clicking on it and seeing how I'm looking before a video call. Text sniper for copying text that like isn't selectable text. I do this a lot with chapters in Final Cut. Yes, CleanShot X can do this. Everyone tells me that. But Text Sniper does a much better job at keeping the formatting. For some reason, every time I do it with CleanShot X, like stuff gets thrown into one line. Text Sniper, if there's line breaks and stuff like that, does a much better job at keeping those. Hazel, I use that for backing up files and stuff to my NAS. And that's it. That's it for me.
All right. I will do the same thing. I have many left. Hyperduck. Guess who made this app?
Sindra Sora. Only because I just saw it on his website.
Exactly. Hyperduck. It's a small thing that lives in the menu bar, and you install it on your iPhone as well. It lets you send links to your Mac, and that's it. Why not use AirDrop? Well, because Hyperduck, it does this via iCloud. So it works even when your Mac is offline. So I do this all the time. I'm not using a Read Later app anymore. I'm just using Hyperduck. When I'm on my phone, I see things that I scroll through on the web, on Mastodon, and whatever, and I send them to my Mac via Hyperdoc. And then later in the day, I open my Mac and they're all there in Safari, all open, and I just go through them. It's really useful. Second one is MenuBot. MenuBot I've written about on Mac Stories. It's a nerdy thing, so it lives in the menu bar once more. What this does is it allows you to make custom menu bar applets with shortcuts on the Mac. And I'm using this to create a custom weather applet for my menu bar using a chunky shortcut. The shortcut, it fetches the forecast in my area, and if I'm at home, it displays the temperature from my weather sensor outside my window instead of the forecast, so that I've got an accurate temperature reading in my menu bar at all times. And I'm using SF symbols and all of that. I've written how I've done this on Mac Stories last year. I'm still using it. It's great. And I've seen a bunch of people use this to do some more advanced stuff, like showing your calendar events, your reminders, just really useless stuff as well, like emojis that change throughout the day, or I don't know. You can have fun with it. Next one is Moom. Moom is a window management app. It does so many things. And just like Dato, I don't use 90% of the app's functionality. I only use one feature in Moom that I love. It's called Hover. What this does is you can set it to you can set a modifier key on your keyboard so that when you press it and hover over a window on your screen using the mouse, you can just move the window around. It's when you get used to this, you cannot live without it. Like, it's so easy to flick windows around with this. I've set mine to the globe key when I'm in laptop mode. When I'm at my desk, I don't have a globe key, so I use the control key instead. And yeah, just hold the control key, hover over a window, and just move it around. And it also has a secondary feature, which is if you hold control and option, so whatever you set, you can choose your own modifiers. But when I hold control plus option and then hover over a window and move it around, I can resize the window on the fly. And it just resizes with the nearest corner of the window. So you can resize it toward the top, toward the bottom, horizontally, vertically. It's awesome. I love this feature. Next one is Quitter by Marco Arment. the ATP boys, they are really here for the show today. Quitter is an app which quits your app automatically after a delay. That's it. I'm not using it to quit any apps though. I'm using it only to hide apps after a delay. Because
okay.
I want to manually quit apps.
Double check.
Yes.
Double check that messages is not included in this app.
It's not.
Okay.
I swear to God, it is not. It is not. I've checked.
The support team member in my brain from years ago is coming back like, you have an app that quits apps and you have another app that's quitting and you're wondering why.
I've also Raycast also has an auto quit feature. I've checked multiple times. Messages is not in there either. I swear. So yeah, I hide most of my messages apps. They hide by themselves using this after a few minutes. Next, Sleeve, which is a music companion that lives on your desk. It's a music widget. Written about it recently on Mac Stories. It's really fun because you can customize the look of it pretty far. You can change the font, the size of the cover art. You can change which info is displayed for your currently playing track. It supports both the music app and Doppler, which I'm a fan of now. And it supports scrubbing to Last.fm, which is essential. Next one is Sound Source by Rogue Amoeba. Lives in the menu bar, lets you change the volume for individual apps, plus bunch of advanced features, like you can set EQs. You can change the sample rate of your sound output really easily instead of having to go into the audio MIDI app on macOS. It can be pretty advanced, and I really like it. And final one, I'm out of breath, is Yellow Dot. Now, without clicking on this, can you guess what this does?
Something to do with the minimize button.
It's called Yellow Dot. It's not that.
Oh, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
So you know how you're on a call, you have a yellow dot in your menu bar showing that your microphone is in use?
Oh.
Yeah. This does not get rid of the yellow dot because that's not possible. However, it disguises the yellow dot. It turns it into a monochrome dot, like it matches the rest of your icons. So my icons in my menu bar are white because I have a pretty dark background. And with yellow dot, the yellow dot in menu bar is white instead of yellow. This works also for screen recording, the screen recording dot, which is purple, as well as the camera one, which is green.
Nice.
Lovely.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's it. I'm done. All 18
Well,
of them.
that is our startup items. That was a lot. But
Yeah.
we are running long, so we need to get right into the challenge here. And the challenge was Matt's, I think. Sort of, if I remember right.
Not really.
With an assist. I officially delivered it, but I was Niléane really set us up on this one. It was to find a good transit app.
Okay.
Or travel app. Good app when traveling. So I can go first. Mine is, I looked for something like a little indie app or something interesting, and I didn't find anything super surprising. So I went with, I feel like I mentioned this on the show before, but I went with the United app. I think it is.
You definitely did because it was right after I got stranded in Newark that you brought it up. I remember this. Yeah.
But I think it's a great app. I use it. I think I said this last time. I actually have started using it over Flighty, which is not a thing I ever expected, but they do live activities fantastic. And the thing I really enjoy that I'll call out here is that when you get to an airport, you arrive at your destination, the main screen of the app shifts to basically a view that says like, okay, here's based on where your gate is and where you're going, turn right. And then you'll go left at the dinosaur skeleton or whatever. And that's where you can get to rideshare or normal pickup or whatever. It's super, super good. It really is just a great example of an app that is solving the problem that you have at the time that you're having it. So I think it is underrated. And if you use an app like Flighty because you just assume it's always better, you could check out the United app next time you fly that airline.
Yes. Do you always fly United?
I typically do.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I don't, then I go back to Flighty. But yeah.
Okay.
So my app, and this is not going to surprise anyone considering where I've been, is the Disneyland app. You do everything through this app, literally everything. But the really nice thing is there is a map right in the app. It shows you can cycle through different categories of stuff. You can see all the wait times for rides. You can see where you are. You can use it to plan your transit to those rides. Hey-o.
There you go.
And it shows like show times and all that stuff. Danielle became like a ninja with this app. Like we got on rides super fast. We did the Star Wars night thing. We waited in no lines for that. She was amazing at it. You do all your lightning lanes through it. You can mobile order food. Looking at you, Corn Dog Castle. If you're going to California Adventure, go to the Corn Dog Castle. It's next to Goofy's Sky School roller coaster thing, and get yourself a hot link corn dog. It'll be the greatest thing you've ate, except for the churros. I ate 11 churros on this vacation. Yes, that's right, 11. Found all the churro stands through this app. It was fantastic. It's actually a fairly well put together app, like as far as like planning and getting through things. If you're doing anything with Disneyland stuff, download it. And like I don't even think it's like I think there's an app for each park. So if you go to Disney World or Disneyland Paris or something like that, I think there's a different app, but I think they're all fairly similar. But yeah, this one, fantastic. It had all the downtown Disney stuff. We were able to find like what places had breakfast items because not every place has breakfast. It was great. Good app.
Do you realize how when talking about Disneyland out of context, it sounds insane?
It does sound insane. I was thinking the same thing.
It is. It is literally. I basically project managed this trip. There was 9 people. One of them was an infant that went on this trip. It was a headache and a half to plan this thing. It was wild, but like it was a great trip. The nice thing is like we stayed in a Disneyland hotel, so like. Once we parked our cars, I parked my car on Sunday, and I didn't see it until Saturday when we left. It was great. Like, it was fantastic. We were there the whole time. It was wonderful.
I do mean that you sounded like, hey, so there was this thing next to the dog castle with catfish food and
no, corn dog castle.
Giraffe.
Corn dog castle. Get yourself a hot link corn dog. You can thank me later, and get me one while you're at it because I want another one. Niléane, what do you got?
Okay, so I've tried to find a solution for something that annoys every single French person in this country, which is that, so the national train company is called SNCF, the national train operator, I should say. They have an official website through which you can book tickets. It's also an app through which you can book tickets and monitor your trip and plan trips, itineraries, etc. It's called SNCF Connect. It's the worst website on the planet. Like literally, ask any French person, they will say, "I hate this with a passion," and yet it's on my home screen because I need it. So I've tried to look for something else. I will say that I do not use SNCF Connect. I use Trainline usually, which is an alternative app to book train tickets and monitor your trips. It's Trainline, honestly, it's great. I use it all the time. I've been using it for years, but I wanted to bring something new. And I found something new. It's called 12train.com. And if you click on this link, 12train.com, gentlemen, you will see that it's a very, very bare bones website. All it has is a simple form, your departure, train station, and your destination. Select time, date, how many adults, what age are you, do you have reduction coupons or whatever, and you search and you click buy. And that's it. And they give you a train ticket. And that's it. And it's extremely refreshing. It's a French-specific operator, like a booking service, I believe. Like you cannot find trips that are outside of France. You can find trips that go from Paris to Berlin, for example, but not from Berlin to Hanover, like not outside France completely. So it seems to be centered on the SNCF network in France. But yeah, if you're in France, you need to book a ticket really quickly without having to deal with all the ads, the terrible UI, the excruciating user experience that the official app from SNCF gives you. You can try this out. I've tried it, booked one trip with it to see how it's gone. It was great. There's no trip monitoring, just gives you a ticket. It sends you a PDF by email, and that's it. Unfortunately, no support for Apple Wallet, but maybe it's coming.
Nice. I like this.
Simple.
Yeah, simple. Solves a problem.
Yeah.
Solves a better problem than my app, for sure.
There's no app, by the way, but you can install it as a PWA on
there
your
you
iPhone.
go.
Nice.
All right. Well, is my challenge for you guys, and I came up with a fun one that is I think we can have some fun with, and I think our audience can definitely play along with. So the challenge for this week is use the Raycast typing practice feature and submit your best word per minute typing.
Oh no.
You can use any keyboard you want. You can do this as many times as you want. The deal is where you're recording Friday, whatever that date is, this coming Friday. We're recording then, so you just have to have a screenshot of your word per minute in the document by 8 a.m. PST when we sit down to record that Friday morning. So that is the deal. Do it as many times as you want. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a very literal challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love when I saw this one, when I saw that Raycast had this, I was like, this is a perfect comfort zone challenge. I was like, this is
Matt
exactly
is not happy.
I'm not gonna
honestly,
win.
I think I'm gonna do the worst. I actually think I'm gonna do the worst. All right. But that's it for the show. We're going kind of long, so I'm not going to ask an end of the show question this time because we're going kind of long, and one of us has a real job they have to get to. Thank you all so much for listening. Oh, sorry, Matt. What were you going to say?
No, keep going.
Oh, okay. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.